no idea what this all actually means. I assume that means there's some sort of permanent Hangout link that we can copy and paste to people afterwards.
Yeah, there were some terms and conditions that said everything we say will be recorded for the rest of our lives and made publicly available.
Yes, for humiliation and shame by Google.
At that point, I turned the video off.
Yes.
So that means we should say that Google is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, repeatedly. And by the way, Google would really love some infrastructure for our Adopt OpenJDK build farm. Thanks. Cool. So I don't know if everyone knows each other, so I'll do a quick round of introductions. I'll start with myself. Hi everyone, I'm Martin. I help run the London Java community and am generally involved in kind of the Java standards body and things like that. So I try and have a bit of an overview of Java and Java EE as far as the kind of end user developer is concerned. So I'm partly responsible for this fiasco, as we know, called the build farm. Stuart, I'll let you go next.
Yeah, I work for IBM, working full-time on OpenJDK one way or another. And I'm currently looking at getting the JCK tests running on one of the machines in the community.
Cool. And Rory?
Rory O'Donnell is my name. So I work with Oracle. I'm involved primarily with quality outreach. Up to now, that's been focusing on the open source guys, and if you look at the quality outreach page, you'll see we have something like about 100 odd guys that we communicate with on a regular basis. And so we wanted to get involved with you guys helping out on the testing side. So Munir has started already looking at some of the issues that you guys have logged, but I'll let Munir go into that if he wants to. Anyway, that's me. Thanks.
Cool, thanks, Rory. And Ilan, if I pronounce that correctly?
Ilan, yeah. So I work for a company called BXB Digital, which is a startup that's been spun off from a parent company that's supply chain, and it's all about instrumenting all the devices moving around the world and using that data to provide services. So that's who I work for. But apart from that, I'm interested in getting more involved in community-driven projects. So that's why I'm here.
Cool, welcome. You've come to the right place. Brad.
Hi, yeah, I'm Brad Blondin. I work for IBM in Canada. My predominant work on Adopt is with the infrastructure folder. I wrote most of the Ansible playbooks for our machine setups, and that's predominantly where the space I'll be playing in.
Cool, and the joys of getting Ansible scripts to work on Mac and Windows in particular is delightful, I'm told. Munir.
Yeah, I am Munir. I am from Oracle, and I work with Rory in the quality outreach program. So regarding the Adopt OpenJDK, I just started looking to the test bugs. Yeah, it is just started. Yeah, that's all.
Cool. So I think I'll actually dive into that topic first, because we really do want to get our Oracle colleagues up and running, and as they've very kindly offered some of their time here. So for you, Rory and Munir, we're having a discussion on the Slack channel at the moment about whether all of the test failures across all of the different forests that we currently support, so that's basically JDK 8, 9, and 10 on a good 7 or 8 platforms each, including OpenJ9 as well as a derivative. Would you? Is it easier for you to view those in one repo, which is OpenJDK test at the moment, or is it better for you to see them in the multiple repos, so like having test failures in each of the individual repos?
Munir, do you want to take that?
Yeah. Yeah. In the let me just. Yeah, I already started looking to this OpenJDK test repo, but yeah, I was asking that question that whether these are against per JDK 8 or I think Martin mentioned that it is across 8 and 9 and 10. So, but I didn't see any CA which is or the CA jobs which is running JDK 10 or 9 tests. Only JDK 8 tests are running, but 9 and 10 I didn't see in the CI? Is it running? Or?
It should be, yes. Let me just check our Jenkins, and I'll try and guide you to the right place. I know we've been running 9 for a very long time. I'm not 100% sure about 10. Oops, sorry, I just got... let's have a look at our test tab. Yes, we don't have as many 9 tests running as I thought, so I'll just paste the link to the appropriate tab in the chat window, assuming this does give us a chat window.
Yeah, I've got one.
There's a chat window. Brilliant. So that link gives you all of the nodes that we're currently running the test suite. So it is mainly OpenJDK 8, and there's a little bit of OpenJDK 9, especially on the OpenJ9 derivative. And I think the reason why we haven't gone full hog for the 9 tests yet is that my understanding from Shelley is that she wanted to stabilize the infrastructure for 8 first, and especially get rid of all of the tests that are just related to us not having a machine set up correctly.
Yeah, that makes sense, Martin, really, you know, for us to focus on 1, get it sorted, and then, well, we'll move on to 9 then. A lot of the things that Munir has looked at already, he's seeing that the fixes may already exist in 9, and we may just need to backport them to 8 and stuff like that. So why don't we, Munir, well, I'm helping him, not doing much, to be quite honest, but Munir's doing all the work as usual, but let him focus on the 8 issues that we're seeing so far, and let's see if we can make some progress there.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, I think the person who's leading the testing effort informally, I guess, is Shelley Stevens. So she's Canadian-based, so I'm not sure how easy time zones are for you two to actually get together at the same time. But she's a person you can definitely ping on Slack to get, you know, a stronger, more definitive answer than what I'm able to give you at times. But
sure, but I think it's probably going to take a couple of weeks from Munir to sort of get a grasp of everything that's going on. So you know, anything we find, we'll definitely come back and sort of give you not a presentation, but some kind of update on, hey, these are the kind of things we're finding, and these are the kind of things we can action and stuff like that. So that's going to take a couple of weeks, Martin. I don't expect that that's going to happen, you know, in the next couple of days or anything like that. So there's a good deal of work to do first up front, and then and of course we can start to share whatever we find then with Shelley, but maybe with the greater you know, all of you guys here on the call at a later stage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes complete sense. So Munir, I know you asked for a few label updates to make it easier to triage. Is there anything else you'd like us to do to assist?
Pardon?
Sorry, so I know you asked for a few label updates to the GitHub issues to make it easier for you to find, you know, Java 8 versus 9 and different platforms and things. So Shelley said she's going to go and do some extra labeling to make triage easier for you. Is there anything else that we can do immediately that would help?
Yeah, mainly I think labeling regarding the JDK version, Java 9, 8, or 10, that will be very useful.
Okay.
Because for some of them, I can see there are already issues exist in the JBS. So I was thinking these all are from the JDK 8, then we might have to backport. So if it is in the JDK 9, we are seeing the issues, then it is like it is already resolved in our JDK 9.
Okay, cool.
What about the different flavors OSs? I think you were asking about, Munir. Was that something else you were looking at? You know,
that somebody.
What Linux is it, or did you find that?
Yeah, that somebody pinged some link in there, and from that I can assume that it is Ubuntu. In case of Linux, it is Ubuntu, and Ubuntu's some version they have specified, and Mac OS is it is a OS X 10.10. So I think it is already there in that one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so for the machine configurations, I think I think we do have a wiki page or a markdown page which does list their configurations, but I think it's always best to go to source, which is the Ansible scripts that Brad has mainly contributed. Cool. Does anyone else have any concerns with testing or questions on it, or would like some modifications done to how we're currently doing things? Nope. Cool. Well, in that case, I didn't have any specific agenda for today, so I'll just open it up to the floor and ask who has questions on any aspect of what we do.
Well, I guess my only question is, how do I find something really simple and easy that I can start learning the environment on?
That's a really good question. So a good place to start is the infrastructure repo. And in there, assuming either Brad or Stuart now merge my latest documentation pull request, there is the ability to be able to find either an issue labeled good first issue or help wanted. And you can actually make the change to the Ansible scripts and then test that change in a virtual box that we've provided for you in that repository as well. So we've got a Vagrant setup, which allows you to spin up an Ubuntu in a virtual box, run the Ansible scripts.
You've got the steps on how to set up that test environment.
Exactly. Well, once my pull request gets merged, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's a good way to start learning about how to use Ansible. And I would suggest, if you haven't used Ansible before, that you just simply spend some time changing the Ubuntu playbook and just seeing how Ansible works and read through the documentation, etc. And only after that would I suggest that you start actually tackling issues. That is because it's very easy to break the entire build farm by getting a piece of Ansible configuration wrong. So we tend to be pretty strict with allowing ones to be patched and go through, but it certainly helps if you've done some of your own research on how this stuff works properly. And I say this speaking to myself, because I was very guilty of breaking the entire build farm over the weekend. Stuart is smiling, but at the time I think he wanted to kill me. So, so that's one good place to start. Another good place to start, if you find that you're not able to find some issues to work on quickly, there is the OpenJDK build repository. And that contains all of our scripts to be able to build all the different OpenJDK derivatives on any of the platforms. So again, you can actually do that in a virtual box or on your own desktop, as it were. And there's a whole host of issues in OpenJDK build which are listed as either help wanted or good first issue. Those tend to be the lower hanging fruit.
There's steps on how to get yourself going there as well.
Absolutely. That OpenJDK build repo probably is the best documented, I would say, because that's Marnie going in and doing his super documentation effort. And if you do find any issues with that, then just again ping on the Slack channel and Marnie will swarm all over it pretty quickly, I imagine.
Thanks.
Hey, Martin, I just approved that Ansible guide improvements pull request, so I've definitely got the authority to do that now. Thanks.
Hey, brilliant, cool. If you're happy to merge as well, then I guess just yeah, you can merge that one as well. Trying to think of other good starting points. The last good starting point, which is quite low-hanging fruit or easy to do yourself, is the OpenJDK website repo. So that's our website, which is pretty much static HTML templates and some JavaScript and CSS. So even if you're not familiar with those technologies, it's pretty darn easy to get in there and actually make some changes and look at fixing a few things.
Well, I'm good at making things look ugly.
So we do luckily have a couple of designers on board part-time. So Joe, who I think has moved on a little bit now, but also Enrique. So if you do have some ideas, you can, yeah, again, jump on the website channel and just just sort of ping people there and say, hey, I'd like to go try and fix something. I think what we've tended to see is that a lot of informal one-on-one kind of Google Hangout pairing sessions happen on this project. So when I first did my Ansible bit, I paired with George, and we did some Ansible stuff together, for example. So you find it's probably a nicer way to get started than trying to get through some of the stuff on your own.
Cool.
All right. Does anybody else have any issues or concerns or questions?
No, just say welcome to the new people, and yeah, good to get them on board, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. So I do have one other bit of news which has just happened. So we now official access to the JCK 9 Plus, and they have fixed the download link as of a few hours ago. So I will upload that into a private JCK 9 Plus repository and share it with the same people who've got access to JCK 8. So well, I realize we need to get the JCK 8 stuff working first, but at least that can follow on quickly afterwards, which would be nice.
Yeah, sounds good.
So expect a few more emails on the conformance list as well, Rory.
Okay. Any action items that were outstanding, Martin? I did try to read some of the minutes from the last one. I think you uploaded that you were going to talk to George Sabb about. Is there any things that we can sort of ping George about or anything like that? Or
yeah, so the only one. So
talk to him regularly.
I do reasonably regularly. Usually when he wants something.
Okay.
No, look, the only useful thing would be is we're, as you know, for your own internal build farm at Oracle, and IBM knows this as well, but the total number of hosts we will require to really make this thing fly long term is going to be well in excess of what we have today. So George from IBM and I have got a meeting with a mid-sized cloud provider on Saturday morning who looks like they may be donating up to about 15 to 20 more hosts, which would be fantastic.
Wow.
But obviously the larger full stack players like Oracle, IBM, Red Hat, Amazon, Google, who either directly control clouds or have high levels of access to them, if we can persuade those people to come on board, then that would be most helpful. So I think George Saab was going to talk to the internal Oracle Cloud people to see if some of those nice meaty machines could be extracted. So I think that's really the only thing.
Okay.
Apart from that, yeah, it's just fantastic to have you and Munir on board, really.
Well, let's hold the fantastic until we do something.
Yeah. Well, it's just nice to compare test results, if nothing else, right, and actually be able to discuss them properly. So
yeah, okay.
I'm having a quick look through the old agenda here from last week. So I think that there's a large outstanding issue about making the builds that we have a lot more accurate metadata around them. And that's something that I think the Red Hat folks are very keen to take the lead on. So I guess we'll see some changes just happen eventually there. But for now, that shouldn't impact us too badly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it really.
Okay,
oh, there was a question a few questions on JCK test results and things, Rory. But I think in order just to be very cautious about this, we'll probably just discuss those on the conformance list and then get an official response and then come back here. So
okay. Munir and I are not JCK specialists, so that's one of the things that we need to talk to our guys internally and say, either we need to bring somebody else on board who would know this JCK stuff. We tend to focus mainly on the regression suite, so that's where Munir's expertise is.
Ah, okay. Sorry, wasn't aware of that. That's really, really good to know. I will stop harassing you on the GitHub issues then.
Yeah.
I was like, Rory will know. Cool. Okay. Well, if that's it from everyone, then we'll call this a lovely short meeting, which is the best kind. And,
Yeah. Okay. Works good. Are we going to do these Hangouts, or what do you think is going to happen next?
I think next time we'll swap to the Zoom. I'm not quite sure why George missed today's one. I assume he's in a lecture. But I'll touch base with him and make sure that we have that regular Zoom up and running next time, because I think given enough notice, we quite often have more than 10 people who want to come to one of these calls. So.
Yeah, I was disappointed to be locked out of the very first one.
If we want to talk about conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Oh, well, Munir actually managed to get in, so I had one.
Yeah. You could have public blog posts from Oracle saying that there's these smoke-filled rooms in these community projects that Oracle's not invited to. Would have been brilliant. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, thanks very much, everyone, especially for turning up short notice. And again, thanks, Munir, for using your evening time on this. And yeah, we'll see you all on Slack.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.